Hello and welcome to the Handshake here on New Vision TV with me, Lynn Komjisha. And here's where we discuss our issues. When I say our issues, these are issues that affect us on a daily. And I'm sure you know that. Now, I am joined by my colleague, Paul Busharizi, who is here to help me understand a few of these things. And recently, the budget was read to us. Some of these things we never understood. I saw someone actually complaining that I could just only hear people murmuring and then the finance minister making fun. I didn't understand the budget. Not me. Someone was actually sharing. Now, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Great, fantastic.
The budget was passed and read.
It was good, I think. I think, I mean, the one thing I took out from the budget was that it was a budget in all my reporting of budgets that was biased towards agriculture. Whereas the budget of agriculture was still, relatively small, about 840 billion, which was about 3% of the whole budget. But he dedicated 5 pages of his 32-page speech to agriculture, which is a sign of good things to come.
A sign of good things to come. So how are we doing?
As a country or as a...
Of course, as a country.
We're still alive, so it can't be all bad.
Right. Oh, you're still alive.
Yes, absolutely.
But how are we managing to live is my worry.
No, we're here. We always have these shocks. I think you can safely say every 10 years we have a shock of this kind. Money disappears and people think it's going to be the end of the world. But we adjust because we contain our expenditure and we move on. So I have no fear. We shall do the same this time around. I
hope so. And now, talking about the budget, there were recent hikes on medicine, on some various medicine around. What does that mean? Why would they hike taxes on medicine?
I think they have what is called a verification fee. So if you import a drug, the NDA, National Drug Authority, slaps that levy on your drugs that you've imported. Obviously, verification is what it suggests. They verify these are the drugs that have been imported, and they're intended to treat this kind of condition or this or the other. So they raised that from 2% to 12%.
12%. Why?
Why? Yes, exactly. They raised these on drugs that are kind of locally being produced here, or the equivalents are being produced here.
Okay.
The idea being that we want to go back to our old talk of Bubu by Uganda.
Yes, yes.
Build Uganda by Uganda. So it's a way to support those companies to increase production and compete.
So, do you know which drugs these are?
Well, there was a list of 36 drugs.
Okay.
I'm not very good with. I'm normally in good health, so I don't know about drugs. So I don't know the details of the drugs.
Okay.
But yeah, there were 36. The New Vision published them on Tuesday. So
I'm thinking if they're trying to do Bubu by Uganda, build Uganda. So let me understand. The taxes are on the drugs produced locally or the ones brought into the country?
The verification fees are the ones imported into the country. Yes, to help the local producers compete better. Because I think it's cheaper still to get those same drugs in India or somewhere else. Partly, of course, they produce huge volumes, so the economies of scale are such that.
That actually is interesting. That means Uganda is actually producing about 36 types of medicine. That's very interesting.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that goes on quietly. I mean, it goes back to what we talk about our businessmen. They think that they operate like the old Indian shopkeepers, that if you just open your door, people will come automatically. But you see, in a situation of competition, you've got to advertise, you've got to market, you've got to put those things out.
Okay.
And it's now, even me, I was pleasantly surprised that we have 36 we can claim we do here locally. Amazing. Including ARVs, antimalarials. So it's interesting, and some antibiotics,
That's very interesting for our country. Now, what does this mean for the business people? What implications are there?
No, I mean, essentially, what happens is that, as I said, you know, a drug manufacturer in China can make the drugs cheaper, can make them cheaper and land them in Uganda all the way from China cheaper than you can produce them here.
Oh, wow.
Partly, of course, I think the main factor really is scale. It takes less money to produce a pill if you have if you're producing 100 pills than it takes to produce if you're producing 10 pills. So if it takes 2 shillings to produce a pill, when you're producing a 10, it might take only 1, and that difference makes the difference between you selling or not.
Okay.
So, but then when you slap that surcharge, which I even doubt sometimes it might even raise the price of those ones enough to make those ones competitive. The theory would be that you slap that surcharge, those ones become more expensive, then the local pharmaceuticals would then look to the local producers to produce a drug.
Oh, yes.
Then, which has an implication on everyone, is that in an attempt to fill the gap of the others, these guys have to increase production, more jobs, you know, that kind of thing, more taxes and all.
Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. I think that's very interesting for the country, and well, I hope we can take it up. So be on the watch out, be on the lookout, and see what happens with these taxes on certain drugs. That means the country is actually producing interesting drugs, and here we are always looking for produced from England, produced from China. Now we need to focus on produced from Uganda. Well, that's all we had for you here on The Handshake. Thank you, Paul.
Welcome.